Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
At breaking news, part of US 70 business in Clayton is closed in both directions after a deadly crash. This is a live look at that scene.
Plane on fire, 12 injured after this American Airlines plane caught on fire. The investigation happening at the Denver International Airport.
And it's a cool start for us this morning. Weather-wise, we have temperatures in the upper 40s around the Triangle, 43 in Roxborough. We'll talk about a warm-up on the way and a chance for some weekend storms coming up.
And it's another battle of the blues. It's a look ahead to tonight's game between UNC and Duke in the ACC semifinals. Battle of the Blues Part 3. We have seen this play out before. How will it play out tonight? I'm Jeff Hogan. It's good to have you with us on this Friday.
And I'm Renee Chu. Maybe if you're up, you maybe have seen the total lunar eclipse. Oh, yeah. Caught a glimpse of it, before as I was heading into work. Anthony Baglione in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Quite a sight and quite a treat. First time in nearly 3 years.
It was incredible. I saw that kind of reddish hue to the moon. I was glad, though, that the cloud cover didn't totally obscure that out there this morning. We have a little bit that's tried to push in offshore and kind of filtered out some of those clear skies for our eastern counties. Otherwise, though, we should go for a decent forecast to start us off on our Friday morning. Temperature-wise, check in with those. 49 degrees in Raleigh and Durham, 43 in Roxborough. It is a little bit cool for sure and definitely chilly there for our northern counties, almost dipping into the 30s. But look at where we go today. We're going to be at 71 this afternoon. It should come with a nice mix of sun and clouds. We are dry. Enjoy your Friday. It's going to be pretty nice. But we get through the weekend. That's where we start to watch that potential for some storms on Sunday. We do have that level 2 out of 5 risk from the Storm Prediction Center. We're going to go over what that means and time this out on Futurecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Anthony, thanks. We're following breaking news. Both directions of US 70 business in Clayton are closed right now after a deadly crash. This is a live look at the investigation. This is near Town Center Boulevard. We know 2 vehicles were involved. One of them was a white truck that you see there. The other appears to be a red sedan. Details on how many people are dead or injured and the cause of the crash are limited. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is on her way there, and she will have a live report in 30 minutes.
Today, civil rights attorneys will join the family of Tyrone Mason to demand answers about his death. The family will hold a news conference this morning at 10 alongside attorneys Ben Crump and Bakari Sellers. Mason was killed in a crash where the trooper's behavior was brought into question. WRAL has reported on the pursuit and crash that happened in October on Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh. It launched a massive investigation into the credibility of Trooper Garrett Macario and Sergeant Matthew Morrison. As a result, nearly 200 of their cases were dismissed.
12 passengers were taken to the hospital after this American Airlines flight caught fire in the terminal or near the terminal at Denver, Colorado. Take a look at the people filing onto the wing of the plane. The flight was en route from Colorado Springs to Texas, and it was diverted to Denver because of reported engine vibrations. While taxiing to the gate, the plane caught fire. All of the reported injuries are considered minor. The FAA says it will investigate this fire. WRAL's Liz McLaughlin happened to be at the Denver airport shortly after the plane caught fire. And coming up in 30 minutes, we'll hear from passengers who were on that flight.
Today's a makeup day for Wake County schools on the traditional calendar. Those classes will be in session in exchange for the snow day, February 19th. This is what conditions looked like in Wake County on the 19th. Today was originally a teacher work day. New this morning, if you're up early, maybe you caught this morning's total lunar eclipse. Pretty cool, right? This video was taken by WRAL photographer Michael Joyner. And you can see the red tint there caused by the Earth's shadow being cast onto the moon. That is so neat.
Yeah, beautiful sight. A federal judge has ordered thousands of federal probationary employees fired by the Trump administration to be temporarily reinstated. The judge in Maryland issued a temporary restraining order against dozens of federal agencies and departments affected by the decision. The ruling followed a similar one by a judge in California. Since President Trump took office, the government has dismissed about 200,000 workers who are either recent hires or had taken new positions.
Some tense moments during a congressman's town hall in Asheville.
You got nothing to say but lie. You're lying. I'm a veteran. You don't give a about me.
Carolina Republican Representative Chuck Edwards was hosting an event last night when a man started shouting, and 4 deputies escorted that man out of the room at Edwards' request. This happened after Edwards' comments about his vote for the House budget resolution. It was one of several times during the town hall people erupted and interrupted Edwards with booing and shouting.
Canada's finance minister says the country is still open to talking about tariffs. In a meeting with U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick yesterday, both leaders agreed to keep working on solutions. Right now, tensions are high in trade relations between the U.S. and Canada, and they spoke at length about mutual tariffs on aluminum and steel. They did not bring up the impending 200% tariff on American dairy products.
It'll be Battle of the Blues today in the ACC tournament in Charlotte, with UNC and Duke tipping it up tonight at 7 o'clock in the semifinals. WRAL's Pat Welter and Chris Lee are in Charlotte with a look ahead to tonight's game.
Well, Chris, what everybody was hoping for here in Charlotte, Duke UNC Part 3 today at 7 o'clock.
Unfortunately, it'll have to be without Cooper Flagg. He sprained his ankle in the first half versus Georgia Tech yesterday. He tried testing it back in the locker room. Ultimately, he couldn't put enough weight on it to feel comfortable to play. Head coach John Shire says he doesn't think it's worth it for him to play for the rest of the week.
I would have to be convinced by everybody in the locker room when I go back that he should play. You know, it's not worth it.
So everything breaking Carolina's way, but they had their hands full yesterday with Wake Forest. They survived an absolute dogfight. They're almost in the NCAA tournament, but a win over Duke would virtually erase all doubt.
I feel like with this team, we showed our resiliency, we showed our perseverance, and the way we battled through adversity and overcoming it. I mean, that's what March is about, and that's what tournament teams are.
Even without Cooper Flagg, UNC is going to have their hands full. Con Knipple was brilliant here yesterday, 28 points in that win.
And unfortunately for Duke, they'll also be missing Malik Brown. It looked like he re-aggravated his shoulder injury, and he came up big in the Duke-Carolina game last week at Carolina. We'll see what happens when this one tips off tonight at 7 o'clock right here in Charlotte.
All right, thanks, guys. We have team coverage from the ACC tournament in Charlotte all week long. Chris Lee, Pat Welter, Brian Murphy will have that coverage for us right here on WRAL.
For the second time this week, the Johnson County School Board paused a decision on whether to exclude LGBTQ plus language from its bullying and harassment policy. The Policy Review Committee spoke on that topic for less than 20 minutes yesterday. The board did discuss bringing the harassment policy with broader language back for review after any changes are approved by an attorney.
Threatening text scams are becoming more common. A woman reached out to WRAL about texts she received saying, "I am the hitman who manages this operation. I have strict order to eliminate rats like you." Well, the scammer then demanded money and sent photos of guns and dismembered bodies. The woman reported those messages to the Wake County Sheriff's Office.
In the back of my head, I'm still very aware of my surroundings, looking around, locking my doors. I still feel scared.
Now, if you get a text message like this, law enforcement recommends not responding to questionable emails or texts from strangers. Don't send any cash in the mail. Don't answer the phone unless you know who it is you're answering on the other side.
4:38, another try. The launch planned today that could finally help the astronauts stuck on the International Space Station get back to Earth.
And better than the human eye, how doctors in North Carolina are using AI technology to diagnose patients more accurately.
And we'll give you a live look at Lewisburg to kick off your Friday. It is a cool and calm start. We're looking at a system that will bring rain to the area this weekend. Meteorologist Anthony Baglione will be timing out that potential for severe weather.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
Welcome back. It is just about 4:43 here on this Friday morning, where if you were up and at 'em early over the past couple of hours, we were treated to this beautiful shot there of the lunar eclipse. I know most of the time here when you're trying to take it with your iPhone or things like that, it kind of doesn't look as clear as this, but Greg captured that beautiful shot that was in North Raleigh. If you do have pictures, we would love to see those. Please send them in here. Search on WRAL.com, report it, and we're going to try and get more of those on the air through this morning. Such kind of a cool, fun event for us to start us off on our Friday. Here's the timing. I know it's starting to wrap up, but we saw that maximum eclipse at about 2:58 this morning. 4:47 is when the partial eclipse ends. We're not really seeing that color anymore, but a really cool event to kick us off here into our weekend with that eclipse.
SpaceX will try again to launch 4 crew members to the International Space Station today. A launch scheduled earlier this week was scrapped. The crew heading to the ISS will take the reins from NASA's Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore, who have been up there for more than 9 months.
This morning, New York's Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul is scheduled to meet with President Donald Trump. The two are expected to discuss a pipeline during the White House visit. Trump has previously discussed expanding an existing gas pipeline into New York. Officials have rejected the proposal due to environmental concerns.
The death last month of a woman who was injured in the shooting at Columbine High School has been ruled a homicide as a result of that shooting 26 years ago. Anne Marie Hochhalter died last month at the age of 43. She was 17 when she was shot twice in the back during the school shooting in Colorado. The injuries left her paralyzed from the waist down. Officials say she died from complications related to the gunshot wounds. Her death now means that 14 people died as a result of the Columbine massacre, 13 students and 1 teacher. DOJ is ordering a pause on TSA canine care. An email went out to all TSA canine bomb sniffing units last week, and it put a temporary suspension on all purchases of dog food and veterinary expenses. TSA has more than 1,000 dogs across the country trained for screening passengers and cargo.
State lawmakers were surprised to find crews removing asbestos from the state legislative building yesterday. It's not just lawmakers who use the building. Many school children also spend a lot of time in there. The state issued a permit for the asbestos removal last month, and crews worked on it after hours and took down the signs by morning. Lawmakers were never notified about it. Spot inspections afterward didn't show any problems.
Some hospitals in North Carolina are using artificial intelligence to diagnose patients. The cardiology unit at Novant Health Forsyth Medical Center in Winston-Salem says the technology is breaking barriers in patient care. The department has used the AI cardiac strain analysis software for at least 5 years. Doctors take pictures with a probe and then use the software to see deeper inside the heart.
It's able to detect how well it's moving, how well it's pumping, how well it's basically functioning. And if there's any abnormalities or any inconsistencies, the AI is able to detect that better than the human eye.
They say the feature allows them to diagnose cardiac disease in the early stages.
The toll scam we've been warning you about has caught the attention of the state attorney general. Jeff Jackson says he has even gotten one of the phony toll bill messages. Looks like this. It's a scam that has evolved over the last year, and it claims you have an outstanding toll bill and you need to pay it or face legal action. The AG's office says the origins of this scam trace back to Canada in 2024, but investigators believe it has now moved operations to the U.S. and dramatically scaled up its efforts. NC QuickPass will never request payment by text message and will never threaten you with legal action for an unpaid bill.
I just got 2 of those texts twice in one day last week. There is another place to treat your pets in Durham. A groundbreaking ceremony was held this morning for the new Bahama Road Veterinary Hospital. The $10 million state-of-the-art facility will be located on Snow Hill Road. It will be 15,000 square feet and have 2 miles of walking trails. Construction should be finished by spring of next year. It is 4:47 and a cool start to our Friday morning. And Anthony Baglione in for Elizabeth this morning. We still need a jacket, but we'll get a decent warm up today.
It's still going to be a pretty good day ahead for us, Renee. We have highs in the low 70s this afternoon. We're starting off, though, currently in the 40s and even a few low 50s shown up on the map. 48 is where we currently are, though, around the triangle. 43 in Roxborough. Right about the low 50s there for Clinton and Fayetteville. So that's what you should plan for as you're headed out. Maybe just a light jacket or sweatshirt, something to keep yourself a little bit comfortable this morning. We're going to go for a nice high temperature, though, of 71 today. It should come with a nice mix of sun and clouds. Really looking at the forecast overall, it's going to be a pretty good Friday. And then we get into tonight, tomorrow, still looking pretty good. 80s for us to start the weekend, but then we have a chance of some storms on Sunday. So I want to talk about this next system coming in. Look at the severe risk, though, that we have outlined for today, not including our viewing area, any parts of North Carolina. This is going to be, unfortunately, a significant risk. There are going to be tornadoes from this system today. St. Louis up toward Omaha, even Chicago, they have a very good chance as this same storm system starts to push to the east. And you notice even into tomorrow, that level 4 risk is outlined even getting closer to Atlanta. It's not including Atlanta, but that same system pushes farther east. We are in that level 2. And I know a lot of times when we talk about these levels, what does that mean for you at home? Let's talk about that, because I know the levels can get a little bit confusing sometimes. What that is saying is scattered strong to severe storms are possible on Sunday. Here's our next weather maker coming in 8 o'clock Saturday evening. We're still pretty quiet at that point. Most of this rain is still back to the west. It's mainly around lunchtime into early afternoon on Sunday when we're watching this system. There's a look as we get about lunchtime. We head through the early afternoon. Any one of those cells that we see right there could be on the strong side. Gusty winds, though, I think would be our primary threat at this point. We could see a few isolated tornadoes, but there's just not a lot of energy to work with on Sunday. We're going to still watch it nonetheless. It is a weather alert day for us. 81 on Saturday, 73 on Sunday. Guys, we get into next week looking really nice with those highs back at 80 by a Tuesday and Wednesday.
Once again, 80. All right, Anthony, thanks. And discussing with the Duchess, a new podcast from Meghan Markle, the guests that will appear on the show.
And record-setting Warrior, the history made by Steph Curry during last night's game against the Kings.
It is tax season, and scammers know this is an excellent time of year to strike. Those swindlers will pose as tax preparers and IRS agents to steal your refund and your identity. 5 on your side's Keely Arthur explains how the scams work, plus some filing advice, whether you plan to hire a pro or do your own.
There's a lot of your personal information involved in filing your taxes. How much you make, bank account information, and your social security number. Scammers obviously want all of that.
So what we're finding in our scam tracker is that people are going online looking for a tax preparer, and people are telling them, hey, I'm a tax preparer, and they're losing their personal information.
The Better Business Bureau says do your homework if you plan to hire a pro.
It's always a good idea to use somebody locally that you can see in person. Check them out on the BBB website. Are they an accredited business? How long have they been in business? Do they have complaints? And if they do, were they resolved?
All tax pros must have what's called a preparer tax identification number. Hire someone you can contact throughout the year, not just during tax season. If you're offered your refund the day you file, ask a lot of questions. It might be like a small loan with a big fee. Beware of IRS imposters. An IRS agent will not call, text, email, or contact you on social media out of the blue. They may call you about outstanding debts, but the first contact with you will always be by mail, not phone or email.
If you do owe taxes, you will get a letter with a unique ID, a number to call. There are some third parties that do collections on behalf of the IRS. Same thing, though. They won't call you right away.
And to avoid tax ID theft, file as soon as you can. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
And if you have tax questions and you are not sure where to start, you can call into the 5 on your side Tax Pros on Call this coming Tuesday. Federally licensed tax professionals will be taking calls from 4 until 7 p.m. to answer your questions completely free.
Meghan Markle is launching a new podcast. Confessions of a Female Founder is about the Duchess of Sussex exploring her journey as an entrepreneur. It will also include Markle talking to other female business founders about the success and struggles of starting a company. The first episode premieres April 8th.
Steph Curry hit a milestone no one else in NBA history has ever reached. Curry became the first player in NBA history to score 4,000 career three-pointers. He hit number 4,000 during the third quarter of the Golden State Warriors game against the Sacramento Kings. It came just hours before Curry's 37th birthday, which is today. Great way to celebrate.
Yeah, quite a gift. Today, single day Tickets will go on sale for the Love and Life Music Festival in Charlotte. The festival is happening May 2nd through 4th at First Ward Park. The 3 headliners are Dave Matthews Band, Gwen Stefani, and Benson Boone. 50 acts are set to perform across several stages. 3-day tickets went on sale earlier this year. Early bird sale for single-day tickets and 2-day tickets starts this morning at 10.
Covering Johnston County this morning, Smithfield is hosting its first International Culture Fair tomorrow. The events will be downtown from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. There'll be music, performances, and food vendors, and it is free to attend.
Total eclipse of the moon will show you images of last night's celestial treat.
And flight ends in fire. The investigation underway at Denver International Airport after a plane caught on fire and forced passengers to quickly get out on that wing.
Out of the game, what an injury to Duke's star player means as we head into the ACC semifinals today, where the Blue Devils will be playing UNC.